What's up? Welcome back. Is this really the build show, or is this the fix it or bleep it? What's up? Like bread? Welcome back to the build show. Onra, what's up? Welcome back to the build show. What's up, everybody? All right, so we're going to do something a little different because we don't have any... Well, technically I do have one build in here to do, but because of the slowness on the builds, we are going to be doing some interesting stuff. So here behind me, or in front of me, however way you want to look at it. What's up? Welcome back to the build show, Steve Anderson. Hello, everyone. So we have two computers here. Skino, which is also, I learned by Googling, Slane. That was the name that was given to me. Brought me two systems. And basically he wants me to make two systems out of the two systems. But he wants the best parts moved over to a new case that he brought me. So he brought me a new case, and then we also picked up a new cooler, and a couple of other things for the new case. Anyway, the goal is to make the very best PC that we can out of the two PCs that we have here, and then if possible, I will reassemble a second PC with the remaining parts. These are supposedly two functional computers. The reason why the graphics card is moved here is because I opened it up and looked at it and discovered that that cooler that's in there is a big pain in the butt to work with, and I'm going to remove that. So if we end up, which we have to end up with both motherboards in a system at least at some point, they are we're definitely removing that cooler for sure. Looks like an RX 580. That is correct. That is an RX 580. I'm pretty sure the Sapphire over here is also either a 570 or a 580, but regardless, this is what they brought me, and this is what we have to work with, and our goal is to make the very best possible system out of the two. So we'll go through them and figure it out together, shall we? Sound like fun? What do you guys think? Do you think this is fun? Little change, you know, change it up a little bit. We're not doing a brand new build over and over again. We're changing it up. So let's see what we got in PC behind door number 1. Let's see what we have. Not the biggest fan of this case, but it has a lot of fans. So they both have solid fronts, so we will have to reuse one of these cases, and I'll tell you what right now, because this one looks like somebody smoked 1,000 packs of cigarettes with this one. I'm definitely going to choose this case over that case, simply because of the nicotine. I am not dealing with that. I'm going to say that one gets a bleep it, the case. Steve Anderson, I do that to upgrade system swap out parts. Yes, for sure. Oh, this is, hey, Chris. I need to update that on the Streamlabs side. My bad. So the exclamation point build command is not correct. Just for the record. I never updated it since the last build. Welcome back to the build show, Chris. So ignore that. Pretend that doesn't exist tonight. It's not going to do us any good. All right, so let's get this back. Okay, so behind door number 1, we have an RTX 5, or I'm sorry, RTX. And I'm so used to saying that. It's an RX 580, and this is an 8 gig model. It's an XFX card. These were very popular in around the 2020 through like 2023, and actually even earlier than that, they were very popular. But these were very strong 8 gigabyte cards, and very friendly on the budget. So if you were building a budget computer but needed 8 gigs of VRAM, the RX 580 was the go-to card during that time. So this card did great, and it still can do good. I think the biggest limiting factor on this card is the GDDR5, which is a little slower, and I think it is a PCI 3.0 card, so the bandwidth is also slower. That's probably the biggest limiting factors on that card. Other than that, its architecture and age. Obviously, it's getting older. So next, we have in this system, which he removed the RAM before I did, and he was showing me that he could put it back in there with this cooler here, which I looked at it and I tried, and I was like, this is almost impossible without breaking something. So I left the RAM uninstalled. I am sure as hell not going to reuse that cooler, because that makes it a pain in the butt to service anything in the system. So there's two 4 gig sticks, so that's a total of 8 gigs of RAM here. We are probably going to keep it with this system, and we are going to definitely remove that cooler, replace this cooler, because that is just trash. Probably keep this in the system. I'm pretty sure this is a Intel i5. It's an H310, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be either an i5 or an i3 processor, either 8th or 9th gen. I just don't know what it is yet. We're going to have to remove that cooler, and honestly, I don't even know how to remove these. I've never in my life dealt with a cooler like this before. I assume something on the back probably gets removed. I don't know. I don't see any way of getting down to these bolts. They're basically bolts. I'll have to go find a socket for it. You could clean it, that motherboard, with the special cleaner. Oh yeah, I know. I don't think we're gonna have to do that much cleaning on this motherboard, because this motherboard over here is an AM4 motherboard. I don't know what processor is in there, but he did have this RAM, which was Trident Z RGB, and it is 3200 megahertz, 16 gigabyte kit. So that's 2 8 gig sticks total that came with this system. I just don't know what graphics card that is, because the sticker is unfortunately gone, and I don't know what processor is under there, but I know that's a B450 motherboard, and it's actually a decent motherboard. Power supply, I don't know what that is either. The fans, they're trashed from smoking around it, so we're probably just going to throw that out, those fans. Basically, the goal is I'm going to take everything out of this case at this point and put it in the new case, and then we're going to find out which card this is. It's either a 570 or it's a 580. If it's not the 570, I'm going to swap cards to get the best possible system in the new case that we're going to build with. So, with that being said, our primary goal or work is going to be with this system. This one we're going to keep as is, and then we're just going to swap the cooler out. And then put whatever's left over in here. Storage-wise, I don't even know what the storage is in these systems, to be honest. I don't even know. One of those, we're going to find out. Chuck that one out of the way, and we're going to focus on this guy. Open source AMD drivers are getting code for HDMI 2.0, at least HDMI Foundation gave in Linux. It will arrive in kernel 7.2. Nice. Then you have to remove the cooler from the back. It's an 8mm, I think. Oh, chat nerds, thank you. I've actually never dealt with that cooler before, because I look at it and I see it as an annoyance. It's just a massive annoyance. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But so that probably means I'll have to take the motherboard out, because that's a pretty cheap case, so I doubt the cutout's going to be there for me to access the back of that. So look forward to it. Alright, so with this build that is completely caked with nicotine and cigarette, literally every crevice there is covered in some sort of cigarette, and it stinks. Not gonna lie. I am curious to find out which CPU is underneath this AM4. Which one is this? A Stealth Wraith cooler. I want to see what's underneath that. I know it's a B450 motherboard, so we already know it's an AM4 processor of some sort. I just don't know which one it is. I'm hoping it's something useful. Like, not a first-gen AM4 processor. These fans are just trash. I'm just not even interested in touching them. Basically, I'm going to remove the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM, which is over there, the graphics card, the power supply, and everything else is going to get thrown out. I guess the storage maybe too, but everything else is getting thrown out. 1700X. It could be a 17. You don't even know. And the cable management being in this side of the chamber tells me somebody else was here. Somebody else touched this, and it wasn't me. It's gross. Everything I touch, I just get gunk on my fingers. So this is what your computer looks like if you smoke around it. So you're gonna smoke around your computer, open a window, and blow your smoke out the window. That's all I can advise you. I have no idea. Oh, here's the sticker right here. This is also an RX 580, 8 gigabyte. So I would say the Sapphire is probably the stronger between the two. What do you guys think? What do you think Which one do you think is stronger, the Sapphire or the XFX? I feel like the Sapphire is the stronger card. But maybe that's because I love Sapphire and I have this weird thing for him. But we got a lot of cleanup to do on this card. We might even have to repaste this. No, this is... I'm honestly, chat nerds, I'm actually thinking these cards are that old and they're the original, not the 2048 SP model. I think they're the original. That's how old these systems are. Given the amount of nicotine that's built up in this thing, I had to have taken time to do this damage, so the Wi-Fi card on here also needs to be removed, and he mentioned it did not work, so I think I have a new Wi-Fi card for him. My nose is getting stuffy just working in this. Oh yeah, this is great. So they got the cables for the RGB on these fans running to this button at the back of the PC. So whoever built this was pretty lazy about it. Oh, nice. So this was stuck on there, so I'm assuming at one point this Wi-Fi card did have Wi-Fi antennas, so if that's the only problem with this, this Wi-Fi card probably still works. He probably just didn't have antennas, and it was just that terrible. So there's a Wi-Fi card that needs antennas, but Bluetooth isn't going to work because we don't have the connector. So it'd just be Wi-Fi only. No Bluetooth. So literally every single power cord from the power supply. This is insane. How terrible this is put together. We've got literally every power supply cable in the main chamber. And then this one runs through the PCIe slot back down to the storage. So I'm hoping I can pop this off. Not to mention there's no fans on the front. Oh, that's disgusting. Nice. That's crusty. Doesn't this panel remove? How do you... Really that? Holding it in? I don't know. It's acting like something is holding it in. Ah, there we go. Slide and then lift. All right, 650 watt power supply. That's a decent size. It's 80 plus bronze. It's a power spec, so somebody did this near a micro center. But this is what I was talking about here. We got the power supply cable running through the main chamber back into the PCI slot and then into the hard drive here. And we've got spiders and spider eggs in here. Front screw for that one. There's no front screw. It was actually the top here. I thought it was a front screw too. That's why I took the front panel off. I discovered the wonderful crusties there. This is a 1 terabyte SATA Western Digital. This is Western Digital Blue. I would assume this is probably, let's see, the 7200 RPM drive. So, good sized hard drive. I have not seen a SATA SSD yet, except for this 970 EVO, the M.2 there. That's a good SSD actually. What is this one? Hopefully the other one has a SATA SSD because we only have currently one M.2. One SSD in the bundle of the two computers. This is so bad. There's no SATA SSDs on the backside. Surprise, because it looks like they never took the back panel off when they built this. What do I do here? How do I get... Almost scared to touch anything. They also gave us the extra SATA cable, which is nice. So nice of them. I don't even know how to get these cables back through here. It's like... How the heck did they get this in there? I have no idea how these guys even get gloves and a mask. That's about where I'm at, man. I'm gonna break pins on the motherboard just trying to get this out. I think we have to take the motherboard out first, to be honest, before we break the pins trying to get these cables out. Is 7,200 RPM, Steve, yes. Not bad. Not bad at all. Definitely not going to be used for the boot drive, though. Maybe it's extra storage. Okay, there was a random M.2 screw stuck in there. Like, what? So somebody dropped an M.2 screw in there. And said, well, it's in there. In my magnetic tip. Compliments of chat nerds, by the way. Found that screw. What's up? Grit it? Welcome to the Build Show. The yellow red cables take you back. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Take me back. Alright. Get this out of here. See? Somebody already did this. So I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's zoom in. You guys got to see the damage of shoving all of your power supply cables through there. This is what I was talking about. Somebody already did it. So we got all sorts of jacked up pins here. This port's jacked up. This is jacked up. Really, that's it. But man, what a mess. Let's see if we can fix that. We'll get a nice zoom here. My fine screwdriver. I know where it is. thought it was where I thought it was, but it's not where I thought it was, so. Anyway. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Good. I'm just going to take a screwdriver here and try to bend these pins back. This is just a PWM fan header, so it's not like the end of the world here. I just don't want it touching anything. This one's a little cockeyed too. About as good as it's gonna get. Pretty close. Really, these pins will straighten out if I put a header in there. Alright, zoom back out. Hey Tony, what's up, man? Welcome back to the Build Show. Sorry about that. Mel Manson, yum! Yes, it's very yummy tonight. Very yummy. Or it could be smoking happy. Yes, it could be, Chris. Yes, it could be. Let's see here. I remember the Western Digital Red, Western Digital Green, and Western Digital Black. I believe black was the best. Yes, black for compute was one of the best. Green, blue, red, black, purple, and gold. Yes. I think black was probably the best performer for compute back in the day. Forgot about purple and gold. I got horrible timing. No, it's not horrible timing, man. We're rebuilding a PC. Don't worry about the timing. I'll catch up on the chat. I almost always catch up on the chat. It can't be too old. There's no SCSI cables. There's no SCSI cables. No SCSI cables. Not here. And thank you for the sub over there on the Twitch side, Nody. Much appreciated. Alright, so now that we've got our motherboard out, I can pull these cables through without worrying about bending up those pins, so... Because somebody in their infinite wisdom decided to pull all the power supply cables through this bottom slot here. I don't know who in their right mind thought this was a good idea. Obviously, somebody newer to PC building. Maybe they swapped out power supply. Who knows? I don't know how I got this in there in the first place. Holy smokes, that's tight. But it's a 650/80 plus bronze power supply, which isn't bad. Hopefully it works. The only fan that's coming out of this system that we're going to reuse is the power supply fan. That's something I want to try to clean up the best I can without even accessing it, so lots of air. You built it, you bastard. You're like, Ben's gonna have fun with this one. Let me chuck this M.2 screw in this hidden crevice of the motherboard and see if Ben finds it. Oh yeah, that's Krusty, and not Krusty the Clown. I think I would prefer Krusty the Clown over that. Okay, so everything is out of this poor shell that needs a power wash. I think I'm just gonna take this, if we ever reuse this case, take the electronics off and literally just throw it in the washing machine and pray. See how that goes. Okay, maybe a car wash. Put it on the thing and say send it. put it through the car wash. Shower, hang in the shower. Yeah, I've got a power washer. I could just take it outside and power wash it, which is literally what I would do if we tried to clean that case up. So we are not going to be reusing this cooler. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove the M.2 temporarily because we're going to clean this motherboard up a bit. That is interesting. Let's remove this cooler and find out what's under door number 2. What processor is this? And hold on. Anybody taking bets on if I remove this processor, whether or not the processor stays in the socket or comes out with the cooler, and we bend all the pins? Taking bets? Anybody that's built with AIM-4 and has removed one of these stealth Wraith coolers, it's coming out with it. Yeah. Knows the processor will come out with the cooler. It stayed in there. I did give it a slight twist before I pulled, which is one of the tricks you can do. If you don't heat it up, you can you could give it a little twist. The Ryzen, oh boy, what is it though? Anybody taking bets on what this chip is? Cheater. That's not cheating, that's called experience, brah. You're saying it's a 1700X, chat nerds? Anybody else on guesses what AIM-4 processor this is going to be? I mean, I'm just going to throw this out. I think this is this one's done. We're done. Good entry level 1 card. Yeah, 2600 from Steve Anderson, 2600X. Any others? Anybody else before I wipe it? $2,700 from Gary. What about you, Tony? I know you got an idea. What CPU is that? Might be a 3600. The GOAT. I feel like it's going to be that too. I got a feeling, you know. 5600. Still a GOAT, still a GOAT. This is after my time and before my time. Take a stab, Tony. A crusty one, Gary says. I mean, we're gonna breathe some new life in this system, right? You saw what it came out of. You saw what we just pulled this out of. We got plans for this. 3600 and 2600 were very popular. Yes, they were. All right, here we go, guys. Tony says I have no idea. All right, so I feel like it's going to be a 3600. I did not plug any of these systems in like an idiot, so I have no idea if any of these even work, by the way. So we're just going with the flow tonight, and we're going to find out. Here we go. Oh, boy. There you have it. It is. We can zoom in a little more for you. Come on, camera. Do it. It doesn't want to. Focus. 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 There we go. Holy smokes. It doesn't like the light coming off the CPU back at the camera. Enhance! It is a Ryzen 5 3600, the GOAT. Given the state of the case and the fan and the PSU, well, then sure, 3600 RX 580 Chinese 2040 SP card. You think? I don't think so. I think it's an original. I mean, we could look at the model. The XFX or the, or this guy. The Sapphire. I don't know if it'll focus enough. I don't think it is. I think it's an original. Both of these. Even the 20, oh, thank you, Tony, for the 5 gifted memberships over on YouTube. So Gary, Chris, Old Dirty, and this Madhouse, and P4E Po1AR2. Chris, you got a gift too. Whatever one is cleaner, use it. I think I'm gonna go with the Sapphire. I'll show you the case that we're gonna go into. It makes sense to go to the Sapphire. All right, so now that we know what processor we have, we know what motherboard we have. Let's zoom back out and let's clean this board up. Bad zooming. Bad. All right. All right, so I'm just going to take a paintbrush, loosen this up, step outside, hopefully blow it all off, and then it's going to look brand spanking new, right? That's the goal. And obviously, I'll be very gentle. Oh, thank you for the 2 jewels, Chris. Much appreciated. But at least we'll get rid of some of this crusty stuff that we don't want to see on our new but not new PC. Look at all that old thermal paste that was stuck on the board. Oh, yeah. That's some chunky gunk here. Now you guys know why my computer's always gross. I do this type of stuff up here. This actually has signs of water damage. Take note of that. Water definitely got in here at some point, or some sort of liquid. Bonus. Bonus peel, guys. The peel never came off. Nice. A really nice Asus ROG B450 board, though. I mean, hey. If I really wanted to be picky, we'd take these heat sinks off and get in there real nice, but I'm not being that picky. You don't care what anybody says, you love Asus? Yeah. Asus is a goat brand, always has been. Even when they do stupid stuff. I'll donate 20 bucks if... Hold on, the mouse is in the way. Of course, over the... I'll donate $20 and you hammer the RAM into the socket as hard as you can. If this was my components, I would totally do that, but it is a viewer's PC that they brought to me. So I cannot break the trust of a viewer. But if we can't fix it, we will use the format hammer. That is the gamble. 3.7 hour show, is it? Yesterday was, or Tuesday was. Oh yeah, you want to see the format hammer, don't you? All right, so this is ready to get blown away. There. Now let's clean up this power supply and then the graphics card as well. I don't even know where to start with this. I'm just gonna go to town here. I really want to get as much of this grossness out of here as I can without obviously touching any of the high electronic components inside the power supply. I don't want the fan to move, so I'm going to stick a screwdriver in the power supply. Great idea. Don't do this at home. Try to break up some of that gunk. I don't know what's worse. Me sticking a screwdriver into a power supply or me wiring a 230 amp breakers to each other accidentally on my well pump switch last night. And then turning the breaker on. I'm not a plumber, guys, nor am I an electrician. But I had to replace my water pressure tank yesterday. And I thought by taking a picture and then doing it exactly what I thought I saw in the picture was good enough. Instead of, you know, watching a YouTube video or reading a diagram. That wasn't good enough. So the moral of the story is if you're dealing with, you know, 220 or any high voltage, always read the diagram. We're gonna hope that air can get the rest of that out. Look at that. Look at that crusty desk now. Oh yeah. That was dumb. Why did I do that? We also have a missing cable from this modular power supply, but that's okay. We don't need it. Alright. Now for the graphics card we're going to clean up. Again, we're just going to use the paintbrush to break this up, and then we're going to use air outside to clean this out. blow it out. But the difference in just running the brush on there is substantial. This is an easy way to quickly break up the dust under there so that the air could do its job and blow it all out. And you can get underneath the fans a little bit and break up that dust. If you haven't watched my channel enough, you'll realize that I use paintbrushes for breaking this dust up on pretty much everything. Here's another sign of liquid damage on this card. Nasty. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to take these parts outside and blow them out. I will be right back. Can't take the camera with me, sorry. Need this. I found another spot. All right, those look almost brand new. Almost brand new. But that's about the best it's gonna get. Even has a shine to it. Yeah. While I was cleaning this, I did notice that this screw on the backside broke loose. So we'll have to deal with that. It wasn't even there, so I was holding it, it was like, bloop. Actually, that's what the M.2 screw they were. Nice. So the screw that they use for the SSD is actually, they stole it from the back of the motherboard or something. That is the screw. The chances of me having that screw still here is pretty amazing. So, yeah. They need to get one of those now. Hello, welcome to the Build Show. How nice of you to join us. I'm joking. I do have the perfect thing that would work well with this. Another thermal pad we'll use there. I need probably some alcohol and ever to. I need alcohol for me after cleaning this thing, but you know, PC needs alcohol. We didn't do our due diligence here and clean this up and fix this thermal pad, we could have had some really bad VRM temps. Not that the 3600 uses a ton of power, but if you ever upgrade it, later down the road, if you ever upgraded, then it would have been a problem. So if you ever come across that situation where you're missing a screw on a VRM heatsink, which is, by the way, pretty rare, then just pull it off, and once you pull it off, if the thermal pad looks like it's bad, go ahead and replace it. When I picked it up, I saw that it was torn up pretty bad. It looks like I was not the first person to have moved that and discovered that the screw was missing. So it was better that we just replaced it. Alright, we'll cut this to size. That'll go on there like that. I think They dumped my alcohol all over my fingers. Something like that. Alrighty. That. Do it for the motherboard. The motherboard is good to go. Nastiness that came out of that system. But we're cleaned up. So now we have a clean motherboard, a Ryzen 5 3600 on there. We have an RX 580 Sapphire graphics card cleaned up, and then a 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply for the rebuild. Okay. So I'm going to take this drive and kind of set it over here temporarily. Let's go get the case out. Or what do we do here? I'm so excited. I have RAM shipping to me. I got the Steam controller and only need to get a GPU now. Nice. I see now the relaunch prices popping up in shops of the 5080 or 5800 X3D, $450. I wonder if it'll go higher. Yeah, it'll probably go up. I wouldn't be surprised if it hovers around 500. Tony says Sapphire was my favorite video card manufacturer in the mid 2000s. Those look nice. Yes, thank you. Steve Anderson says, so I'm waiting for NVIDIA drivers that the RTX 5000 series uses to mature in Linux to use the 5060 and the 5060 Ti, and the 4070 Ti does great. I run into the same problem with the 9070 XT. Those cards are just too new. In another year, it'll be much better. Yeah, the drivers will mature. The 7800 XT and the 7900 XT do great in Linux. Build a bunch of Linux computers, buy a bunch of 6800 XT and 7800 XT, and you can have some great gaming. For sure. All right, so there is a little bit more work we have to do to this motherboard. We have to put the mounting brackets on for the cooler, which is, I'm pretty sure the stock brackets come with the motherboard. And unfortunately, that didn't come with this motherboard. But thankfully, I have millions and millions of them. Ryzen 7 7700X, 120 SE cooler, Peerless Assassin 990 Pro, 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte SN, 770 NVMe. Okay. B650 Asus TUF motherboard. I have 32 gigs DDR5 Flare coming at CL36. Okay, is that a build you're having somebody do? I couldn't tell you what cards I had by name. I know I had 4 sticks of RAM that were 2 gigs a piece, and I think my last processor was 4-core, which was huge back then. It was one of those. Was it like an FX series, or was it an Athlon X4 or whatever those things were, the X2s? Good thing I have these. Sitting around here doing nothing. We all right. There we go. We got our RAM, our SSD, and our mounting brackets for our cooler set. So we are good to get that case out. Which, oh boy, we changed colors. This is a H5 Flow, if anybody was wondering, by NZXT. So, he picked this up on Marketplace. I think he said it was like $35 or $40. Pretty good deal. Because it's literally brand new. The hardware is even in here. Has not been removed, so Somebody must have bought this and was like, oh, I'm gonna do a new build. And never did it. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and slap our motherboard in there, get our hardware out, mount this bad boy. Straight to town. Oh yeah, that black on white does not look bad at all. The big upgrade for my Windows 7 PC and a bunch of laptops. Oh, nice. There you go. That is a pretty big upgrade. The 7700X is a really solid chip, so you'll really enjoy that performance. Tony, upgrade all the time. Pretty much upgrade every month, Tony. Whoops. I feel like a caveman exploring the world of Jetsons. You know? Tony said, I really didn't get much help back then. You had to read the magazines. I miss PC magazines. I do miss the magazines too. Checking out those awesome 2003 Alienwares on there, and you're like, wow, man, I wish I had one of those. I could play at ultra settings. Oh, I forgot that one's just a stud. So you guys remember what this thing looked like in the very beginning, right? All right, now that we got that taken care of, we can move on to removing these fans, because these are not RGB fans, and we want to make sure we load this thing up with RGB fans. That was the request. The case cleaned up real nice, didn't it? Yeah, no! Changed colors too, and in fact, I was like, you know what, instead of cleaning, we're just going to paint over it. We're just going to do the old landlord trick. White paint right over the top of it. Where'd that go? Where am I? Aha. Right. The old NZXT fan grip 4000. They got another one in there too. Yep. All of those. Ant-Man, don't even. It's not up to date. It's the old one from the last stream because I was too lazy to update it. And don't give me crap about it. We're lucky we're live tonight. Who knows? Maybe the water pressure tank breaks again. What was for dinner? You're asking. Enchiladas. But I haven't eaten yet. No dinner for me yet. We'll get there eventually. Let's see. All right, so we've got the fans out now. Now we got our new fans that we can put in. Which is the Thermalright TLC12CW-S. It's a PWM fan, it's RGB, and it's white. So it works perfectly. Bushmills for dinner. Oh man. Quite the dinner you have there. Hey, what's up? Just got here. What are the PC specs? So tonight we are rebuilding a PC for a local viewer. They had a Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of DDR4. We had a 500 gigabyte Samsung 970 Evo Plus on a B450 Asus ROG Strix motherboard, and it's an RX 580. But he wanted to do a case swap, clean up the parts, and put in a new cooler, some new fans and stuff. Make it look nicer. Pretty much going to be the same performance. Maybe a little better when I'm done with it. But overall, pretty much the same performance, just better, more aesthetically a pleasing build. Especially if you're here earlier in the stream and you saw what it came out of. Kind of shocking the way it looks right now. Let's see here. Carrots, taters, hash brown, stuffed pepper crust. Nice. That's a dinner. Will Max get any enchiladas? No, Max will not get any enchiladas because he farts when he eats that stuff. And it's gross. It smells. He can gas out a room. I had to go to Port Quantum to go to Canada. Coquatlam. I don't even want to try. I'm done trying. Computers and pick up my case. Canada Computers. Representing from the Maple Leaf. Coquitlam. Coquitlam. There. I did it. I get a gold star. I've actually never heard of it in Canada. It must be pretty far north. I'm in Michigan, so I'm relatively close to Canada. I mean, Canada. Sorry. What's up, Ant-Man? Welcome back to the Build Show, if I didn't say that already. Why the early stream? Well, because I'm sick of building at 1 o'clock in the morning and getting up at 6 a.m. So I'm trying to stay on a earlier schedule. But don't worry, there's plenty of content to go late. It's near Vancouver. Okay. In British Columbia. Canada isn't real. Some giant idiot's starting stuff already. Oh boy. I've been to Canada. I know it's real. Canada? Canada. But we shouldn't be making fun of other people's countries. I mean, look at our country. Anyway, We're gonna put some fans in this. Take off, eh? Eh? I mean, I'm close enough to Canada to probably sound Canadian. In fact, usually when we go south in the States here, most people tell us we sound Canadian. I live 36 miles north of Vancouver, Washington. Nice. I tried to contact Linus for a job and he never replied. Oof. I mean, even I tried to contact Linus. The LTT team, man. Working for LTT Media or Linus something media group. Pretty cool. I'm actually just now realizing this motherboard does not have motherboard does not have ARGB. That'll be a little interesting. We'll have to put an RGB controller on this thing. In fact, I think he has one. What that means is we will not be able to control the RGB from software. It'll be proud in 88 days, probably less than that. I can't say that for sure. Vancouver, because it's 300 miles north of me. You'd love to learn or build PCs for a living and learn new tech stuff? Yeah, it'd be cool. I don't do this for a living. I'm in IT. I'm a cloud solutions engineer for Microsoft, working with Microsoft products. So I make solutions. But I do this on the side now. The goal was to eventually do this full time, but with the prices of everything, it's making it almost impossible to achieve that goal. So for example, we only did 26 builds this year. This would technically be a 27th build. But not sustainable. Absolutely not sustainable. Last year, you know, where were we at? 130? You could see the rapid drop because of the prices of stuff going up. As the prices go up, my builds go down. Told your grandmother I wanted to do something like that, and she said, you could work for Geek Squad. And I'm like, no. It's because they don't understand the industry. And it's okay. They grew up in a different time. They don't want to understand this industry, and I don't blame them. It's like me trying to understand the AI industry when I'm definitely at the age where I just don't want to deal with it. I like AI, don't get me wrong. I just don't want to understand the industry. Maybe I need to pivot to it. Who knows? Maybe that's the play. Pivot to AI. Nice. Very, very nice. So we can actually install 2 fans on the bottom here as well. Give it some RGB on the bottom, but really not necessary to do that. I'm just going to stick with the 3 in the front, 3 in the front, 1 in the rear. And then the AIO is going to go on the top. We are going overkill with the cooler. 100% overkill. You do not need a 360 millimeter AIO for this system. But again, he wanted aesthetics. So that's what we're doing. And then at least with the case and the cooler, he could use that with his future upgrades. We're going to drop this fan as low as we can because we need a little bit of space up here at top above the fan for the AIO. Looks like it's going to be a tight fit for that. Actually not 100% confident 360 millimeter fits in here. Supposedly it does. Right. There we have it. We got our fans installed. Now we're going to get our EPS cable and our 24 pin in. I actually bought him these. He had no idea I was getting them, but the $20 was worth it. It was either that or use the pickup mustard cables, which I refuse to use on this side of the system. You can thank me later. And with those in, now we can grab our AIO and put that in. You could just call me Ben, but Empower works. Or Mr. Empower. I'm just kidding. What is your thoughts on Jeff Bezos? Said that one day people shall rent PCs. Oh, that is 100% what they're trying to do with the market by collapsing the personal compute. You collapse personal compute, the industry, and then you only offer a cheaper solution, which is a subscription-based terminal to your PC in the server farm. And that's where you go to your compute. So you start with this little tablet dinky thing. It's like a terminal. You're just using it to access your compute, which is going to be located in the cloud, and then it's going to be a subscription-based, which means it's reoccurring revenue, which means they make more money, and so on and so on and so on. So reoccurring revenue is the goal for any business. If it's not reoccurring revenue, then you're not doing it right. That's basically the goal in 2026. But yeah, NVIDIA, for example, they want you to go do their gaming PC subscription thing. They don't want you to buy a PC. Yeah, they make money on the graphics card, but they don't make as much money. They'll make more money if you buy a subscription and own that for 10 years. If you pay a subscription for 10 years to your computer, you know, let's say it's $50 a month multiplied by 12, then multiplied by 10. That's a lot of money. And they're making that basically off of nothing because they already pretty much own the hardware. GeForce Now is weird, yeah. So let's say there it is. Your subscription is $50 a month. Multiply that by 12. That's $600 a year. Multiply that by 10 years, and you got $6,000 off of one person. That's more than a computer in total. And even if it was a computer that they purchased, they probably don't make $6,000, and that's over a course of 10 years. And I don't know how much it is monthly. It might be even more. I'm just throwing a number out there. But reoccurring revenue will give you better prediction on what money's coming in. More revenue prediction. Yes, it is cheaper to buy a GPU. That's the point. For us, it's cheaper. And they don't want it to be that way. They want it to be more expensive to drive you to go get the subscription. This is so expensive. I could just pay $50 a month and have this. That's what they want you to do. That is 100% what's happening to the industry. And they're trying to choke it out now by making it so expensive to build a PC, nobody's building PCs. So what does that mean? Companies like Cooler Master are not selling cases. They're not selling coolers. They're not selling fans or any other peripherals for the PC build. They have tons of inventory in their warehouse right now that's just not selling. It's not selling because nobody wants to build a PC. Because it's too expensive. It's stupid expensive. Nobody wants to spend $500 on 32 gigs of RAM. Nobody wants to spend $600 on a 7800X3D and a motherboard, or whatever the bundle is at Micro Center. It's stupid. Anyway, that was my rant. Well, that is my thought on it. Goes deeper. Yes. I'd rather have a 2 to 3 year old good 3K PC than rent. Exactly. Most people do. Most smart people would rather take their investment and own it versus take their money and just throw it away at a rent or lease or whatever it might be. Because they'll control that. They could change the numbers. They could change the price of that. So let's say they need more money. Oh, well, we're going to bump you up $10 more. And then the next year goes by. Oh, we're going to bump you up another $10. It's just the same thing as Amazon and Netflix and all them that are subscription based. Remember when Netflix started, it was like $5 a month or less. Now it's like $20. And that's to have the ultra, that's to like not have the ads and all this stupid crap that comes with it. Anyway, my thoughts on that stuff. They want you to rent. They don't want you to own. When I say they, I'm talking the billionaires that sit in their chairs at 3,000 feet on a plane, private jet, sipping their scotch or whatever the hell they drink. All right, so we're going to throw a 360 millimeter frozen note in white into the system. Yeah. Do that in. Do. And of course the typical Thermalright style, where we have to undo a bazillion twist ties. Thermalright means twist ties. Yeah. They just like money, that's all. And the trickle effect is, look at my channel, 26 builds versus the last couple of years, which was 733, 196. You can see the impact. The impact is real. I did less builds after that 700 because I did a lot more, a lot less budget builds after doing 733 in 2023. But and that was more of a strategic thing because I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't sustain 733 builds in a year. I was burnt out that year. I gotta figure out an RGB controller for this thing because there is none on this board. I know he's got one here that came with those Cooler Master fans, but I'm almost scared to use it. Yeah, we'll get a different controller. I think I have one sitting in my plethora of stuff here. If not, it's one more thing we have to hunt down. Where are my zip ties? Falling out of the back. Nice. Alright, stuff these in there. Now that I scared probably half the viewers away going on that rant. Ah, crap. I hope this fits. I know about. Interesting. Yeah, that broke off. Well, anybody want to look up and see if a H5 Flow is supposed to fit a 360 millimeter AIO? I'm pretty sure it was, or is. But it's not looking too promising. I'm going to drop this rear fan so I have a little bit more wiggle room here. Man, whoever designed this thing, if this is supposed to fit this, I know what it is. It's not an NZXT cooler, so they don't care. Well, it's gonna fit, regardless, but it's tight. Nice. There it goes. Don't go anywhere, I need you. Mosquito trucks went by my house. Yay. Spraying big. Do you have mosquito trucks there where they kill mosquitoes? Yes. Nobody saw that. I don't understand why this is the way it is. For the record, if you ever try to put a 360mm AIO inside here, hey, what's up, Okie dokie? Welcome to the build show. 360mm AIO in an H5 flow is a terrible idea, especially if you're putting 3 front fans in. With how cheap 360mm are, you'd be crazy not to put them in every build. I know. That's why it's like shocking to me that this H5 flow doesn't fully fit a 360. I thought all cases fit them. I know I'm not installing an NZXT cooler, but man. Now we gotta see if we can mount that top fan. If not, oh well, is what it is. Ain't gonna fit, it ain't gonna fit. There's that problem. I had to remove this front fan. There is no way that's going in. Be down. Wonder what to do here now. Back fan on. Try to put 2 fans on the bottom, I guess. Pick up for it. I don't know. This is absolutely stupid. Not the biggest fan of this. No pun intended. Can I get your opinion on what should I do with my current build? Yeah, sure. What's your build? He says, I don't understand how you have to be using one. I know. I don't know if anybody did actually look it up. A bit of contrast is good. I like the build on stream. Oh yeah, thank you. I think it's turning out pretty nice. Wish able to put that third front fan in. It bothers me a lot. Now we have this gaping hole here. For the record, I did not pick out this case. The customer picked it up on Marketplace and was like, here we go. Here's the deal. So, beggars can't be choosers. Is that how the saying goes? Here's what it is. Alright. Just gonna get this bad boy mounted now. Now that we're in the is what it is situation. Let's just mount this thing. Call it a day. Yeah, send me your build, okie dokie. Your specs. So, you're not able to put the top fan in it? No, I'm not. Fun. I am not able to put the top fan in. There's not enough space with the cooler in there. So what I'm going to do is put 2 fans on the bottom. Hopefully make up for that, but no. Oh, this is Skino. Oh, what's up, man? Von Skino. That is correct, sir. We cannot put the top fan in there. There is not enough real estate. I could get my grinder out and maybe grind some of the fan away. Swap the case, Honora says. I would, but this is the case they brought me, so that's what we're using. I really hope you didn't bring me a jacked up system and then you tell me I broke it. That'd be my luck. ASRock B550M Pro 4 motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM, NZXT 60 Z63 AIO. The CX 550M PSU, a GTX 1060 NZXT case, H510 Elite. One without the airflow. I love how you put that in there. Built at sub 1K before RAM issues. What's your CPU? I don't think you put your CPU in there. You're on a B550. My guess would be a 5500 or 4500. $3,600. Due for an upgrade? Okay. What advice do you want? I mean, sub 1,000 for that is a little high. What country are you in? Are you in the U.S.? I'd say that's a little high for U.S. prices. Regardless, have what you have now. What would you like to do? Upgrade? Because the biggest thing that's holding you back right now is your graphics card. I don't know about your storage. That's US? What month of the year, and what month and what year did you buy that? I could come pick it up. It seems like you'll be done tonight, my guy. Good stuff. No, it is not going to be done tonight. After we have it built, I still have to deal with Windows, I'm assuming. Unless you don't want me to reinstall Windows. Have it fresh install like a brand new PC. And then I test all my builds thoroughly. And I'm going to be gone pretty much all day tomorrow. So if I don't have it done tonight, it's not going to be ready until Saturday. Can you put the case fan outside it? No. Unfortunately, Tony, you can't because it's literally there's no room for it for the front panel. If there was no front panel, then yes. We could do that. If it was my PC, I wouldn't really care. I would just do something like that because I'd want that third fan. But I mean, it is what it is. It's not going to look terrible. It'll look a little lopsided there, but not terrible. Kind of an old school look. I hate that it, you know, I knew I had a thought of maybe going 240 with this, but then I looked it up and this should fit a 360 millimeter AIO. Never would have thought that the cooler would not allow the front fan to be installed, the top fan. Never would have thought that. So, I hate NZXT. If you haven't gathered, I'm not a big fan of the brand, and this kind of crap is why. Okay, so we still have to figure out an RGB solution. We should probably get our front panel connectors in now that things are starting to get a little busy in the case. You don't have front panel USB-C, so your front panel USB-C is not going to work, just so you know. There is no front panel USB-C on this motherboard. Panel 3. getting these connections done. Takes a little bit of thinking power, sorry. My brain is a little tied up. Alright, so this is our RGB train chain that needs to go to some sort of RGB controller that we're going to figure out. Probably going to be a physical button, unfortunately, because this particular motherboard doesn't have an ARGB header. So we're kind of stuck with what we got. Oh, come on, Zip Ties, why do you keep running away from me? Two cables up there. Nice. Wish I would have thrown 20 bucks in for a powered hub so you wouldn't have to go through all the daisy chain crap. That's it, is what it is. Working with what we got here, the real life. Ah! Come back here. I love watching you do it, though. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience for my own belts. Need more of these little ones. Yeah. I know, it looks really nice. I know, don't everybody say that at once. Other than that stupid fan in the front. I'll never let that go. Was an afterthought, but to make up for the lost intake on the front, we can add intake on the bottom. Nice. Save $10 and get a Thermalright 360 milliamp for $40. For my first upgrade, should I start with a GPU and PSU upgrade? Oh, hold on, there's a lot going on. King, can you rate my PC part picker? King, welcome to the build show. Sorry I missed that. Definitely could take a look at it, but it wouldn't be until towards the end of the stream if it's still somewhere in the chat or if you hang out. I don't really have an official, like, rate my film rating system, so. What I can do is tell you whether or not you're going to waste money. Thank goodness they gave us those. Mr. Stubby, where are you, Mr. Stubby? I have this little screwdriver running around here that I call Mr. Stubby. Things. Ah, there he is. Mr. Stubby. Oh, let's see here. Honestly, I think it'll be functional without the other fan on the top. I think the airflow will be better. Yeah, well, that's why I'm putting the fans on the bottom here. Just a little bit extra intake on the bottom. Not going to hurt anything. Fans are here. Why not do it? Making them feel extra special, you know. I'm taking the extra time and the care to add the extra airflow, make it look a little prettier. A little bit of extra RGB flare going on. You know. So Oh yeah, and then I still have to deal with that second PC, but I'm not going to do that tonight on this stream. We got our goal done, which was get this function. I don't even know if it's functional yet. We have no idea yet. Still have to put a power supply in this thing. That is a lot of wires. I think we met our zip tie quota already. Okay, power supply time. This power supply faces up on this case. This case has no ventilation on the bottom, so just so you're aware, if you're ever building one of these, you can install your power supply proper direction, or you will burn your power supply out in about a month, depending on how hard you run it, but around a month. Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about the hard drive. Not a big believer in hard drives anymore, but get that installed anyway. They're just too slow, in my opinion. Get that in there. We'll get our SATA. Alright, then we've got 24 pin, which connects here. That button down. In it. I'm sorry, our 8-pin CPU power here. There, let that down again. Well, get this thing back. And let's drop a card in here. And we went with the Sapphire, which needs a little bit of cleaning up. There's still some signs of gunky liquid damage that happened on this thing. But I mean, cleaning up pretty nice. Now, I didn't repaste this thing, and it probably could use a good repaste. If the temps are bad, I'll take it apart and do it off stream. What's a hard drive? Yeah, I know, right? Bob, I'll take. What the F is that? For 500, please. Do. Daily double. Sapphire has always made beautiful cards, I know. To clean it up a little bit. I think where it came from doesn't look too bad. As far as looks go, you think this is one of my best builds? I don't know about that. I've done a lot of builds, Tony. A lot of builds. Told him I would make it look nice. I don't know if you believe me or not. Question, does that CPU cooler show the temperature? If so, that's so cool. No. This is not one that has a built-in screen, unfortunately. This is what we call an infinity mirror. So it is going to light up and it'll have RGB on it. It's going to look like a mirror. So it just has infinity. There are options for more expensive coolers that do have that. For example, Thermalright makes one. The software is a little bit clunky to control it, but overall, relatively cheaper than some of the super fancy ones. Like, for example, there's the Paranorma AIO cooler with the 3D L-shaped screen on it. That's like a $270 cooler, versus Thermalright makes one very similar for about $180. And then you can get a cheaper one with just a basic screen on it for like $90 to $100. So it would have been about $60 more. I love mine. I love my Thermalright OLED screen, and I figured out the software. It's pretty easy. Yeah, once you figure it out, then you're good. It just takes, there is a little bit of a learning curve to it. $160 right now. That's pretty good. DX, not sure what your name is there. Sorry. I'll call you DX. Hello, I have an RTX 4070 Super and a Ryzen 5 7600X. What should I upgrade or wait? I mean, you have a solid system there. The Ryzen 5 7600X and the 4070 Super's a really good pair for 1440p. So you've got a solid build. If you don't want to spend the money, don't spend the money because you're fine. Because with computers, you know, just like cars, there's always something you can upgrade on it. And you can dump a lot of money into it. So it's completely up to you. Sorry if I missed your question before that. The more you buy, the more you save. Thanks for the advice, bro. Yeah, no problem. I'm still, I mean, just as an example, DX, I'm running a Ryzen 7 5700X on a B550 and a 3070 Ti. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Sure, I want a 5090. Sure, I want 64 gigs of RAM. Sure, I want 8 terabytes of Gen 5 SSD. But am I willing to spend the same amount of money that it would cost me to go buy a new car? No. No, I'm not. 5090 is like, what, $4.5 grand right now? $4,500. 64 gigs RAM and is another $1,000. 8 terabytes, probably $1,500. You can go buy almost a new car for that. Oh no, it's not what I need, it's what I want. I want it, yes. Yes, I want it. But do I need it? No. Okie dokie, for my first upgrade, just out of curiosity, okie dokie, is your name referenced from a specific game / TV series? For my first upgrade, should I start with a GPU, a PSU upgrade? I was thinking RTX 5070 and an 850 watt power supply. So if you have a Ryzen 5 3600 in your system, if you get the RTX 5070, there's two things that are going to be a problem. Not really a problem, but noticeable bottleneck. Your Ryzen 5 3600 is going to be a major bottleneck for the RTX 5070. So it's an upgrade you can do if you plan on also upgrading your platform or upgrading to like a Ryzen 7 5800X3D. That would be kind of the ideal processor for that scenario. So you can start with the RTX 5070. You will notice a performance increase, especially coming from a 1060. You will definitely notice a performance increase. But you'll notice an even better FPS lows once you get to the Ryzen 7 5800X3D, for example. Would not say 5070 is a 4K card. It's capable of entry tappering with it's capable of dabbling in 4K, but it is not. I would not consider the 5070 a 4K graphics card. I would say 1440p is definitely the sweet spot for the 5070, which is 2K. Some giant idiot. The 5070 has 4090 performance on paper. Cody says, I really don't play games that much. I mostly just watch you and other people. I could do that on my $150 mini computer, or you could do it on your phone. Cracks me up. I have that mini computer sitting in the drawer. I bought it for 150 bucks. Came with 16 gigs of DDR5 and a 512 M.2. Yeah, it's a great option if you just need a little bit of compute. Are you All right, so now that we've got that in there, we've got our power supply in there. We gotta deal with the RGB and hook up our power to the hard drive, and then we can fire this thing up. And maybe a little bit more cable management on the back. That's a pointless cable. But, Skinno, you know, I told you it was going to look nice. Do you think it looks nice? You're skeptical. I know you're all about that aesthetics. So we went full-blown aesthetics on this thing. The 5070 Ti barely plays games natively in 4K. I know. You have to run that DLSS like crazy. Like right now, 16 gigs at DDR5 and 512M.2 would be like $400. Yeah, it would be. At that point, do a new build. I mean, if he's easing into it, some giant idiot, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade path, nonetheless. Yes, I would say GPU and PSU power supply, knowing that you will have to eventually upgrade the CPU. Oh, Wi-Fi. Almost forgot that. I was pretty sure I had more controllers than this. You know, this Cooler Master hub may have saved your life on the software. We might be able to run the software from that. You just have to run Cooler Master software. But it's an option. Ooh, look, it's an old RTX 3060 box. But it's my RGB hubs. Let's just hope it produces enough power for that one chain. I don't feel like I'm... Alright, our Wi-Fi. Because I know you said you needed Wi-Fi, so I got you a AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 card. It's got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. I would prefer to plug it in the top slot, but we're going to go in the bottom. The very bottom. The Wi-Fi doesn't have motherboard, or the motherboard doesn't have Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi doesn't have motherboard. The motherboard doesn't have Wi-Fi. Holy smokes, Tony. Coming in with 5 Tier 1 gifted subs over on the Twitch. Thank you, sir. Certified Johnny, Luna, TJ Wolf, Kingpen, and Lume all got gifted subs by Tony. Thank you, sir. Mucho gracias. My friend wants to upgrade a new GPU. He has a 3060 Ti and a 7700X. So what GPU should he get? With the 7700X, you could pretty much run probably up to a 5080 and be fine. What's his budget for the new GPU? That's the question. That is always the question in that scenario. What does he want to spend? Nice. I should have pulled the GPU out for this. But I'm going to make this work. There we are. Got our Wi-Fi plugged in, installed. And there you have it. Wi-Fi Bluetooth installed. Got our fancy white cables and all of our white fans. RGB'd. Can I build a $1 computer? You cannot. I don't think that's possible. Unless you go to a landfill and get lucky. Alright, so next, we're going to take some of these components and throw them over here. Get rid of this hardware. Extra hardware. Tools. Stuff's got to go over here. junk from that old PC. All right, who's ready to see this thing fired up? Well, they got quiet. Anybody know what happened? Hype chest. Hello. Oh. What happened to the music? I can hear my thoughts. We're back. There it is. In all of its glory. One thing I forgot to do. I just remembered. It'll take me a second. Want to hook up my $150 computer to one of my monitors so I can watch the streams. Oh, nice. Go for it, man. I kind of forgot that this thing has power. When I buried it. Like an idiot. There we go. Whoopsie daisy. My bad. I was going through my checklist of all the stuff that I typically forget. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that. Choo-choo! Choo-choo! Okay. Mr. Dino, are you here? Are you here to witness the first time launch? Fix it or bleep it. Or do we have to get the format hammer out? Should I go get it? Tony, so I could play games while I'm streaming. Well, I think that's why you have 15 monitors, Tony. So you can game and stream on the same PC. Thank you for the 1,000 cheers. Or cheers with 1,000 bits. I was over-exaggerating. I get that because I grew up in a family of a lot of sisters, and my mom, they exaggerate a lot, so I over-exaggerate a lot. He's got, like, I don't know, four or five monitors. And 2 computers, Tony. You know, just, yeah, it's something small. Skino, are you here? You gotta tell us when to fire this thing up. Waiting on you, bro. Four or 5 monitors equals 100 screens. Yes. Okie dokie. Skino, did you pass out on us? It's only 10:30, man. Okie dokie. Would the AMD Ryzen 5 7600 be an upgrade which supports the GPU? Yes, but you would need, and okie dokie, this is going back to your question from earlier, you would need with the 7600X, I saw you chat, nerds. You would need a new motherboard and DDR5 RAM. So your B550 motherboard would not be compatible with the Ryzen 5 7600X, and your RAM DDR4 would also not be compatible with the new motherboard that would come with the 7600X, or the requirement. Chris, they always do this. Folks pass out on me. I know! They always just disappear and they go to chat, nerds. Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? You missed the entire build, man! Did not know that. Yes, yep. So your platform is limited to the 5000 series. The AIM4 socket is what you have, is AIM4. So you're limited to up to 5000 AMD CPUs. So that's the Ryzen 5 5600, 5600X, 5700X, the 5800X, the 5800X 3D, 5900X, 5950, etc. That family of the 5000 series is what you want to target. Yo, I'm back. Can I see if it works? Yes, I'm here. You're supposed to tell me when to push this power button, dude. Tell me when to push it. We don't know yet, chat nerds. We don't know yet. The sticker says it's just a regular original RX 580. So, pretty sure we got original 580s in here. What's the highest CPU which is supported on the motherboard that would support the GPU? I would say a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. All right. Skino says, push it now. Push it real good. That is loud. I don't know when the RGB turns on because it's on this Cooler Master hub. It might not even turn on until we get the Cooler Master software installed. Oh, no boot device detected. So you didn't have Windows on this, did you? $5,600, I forgot what you said. It's the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. That is 100% going to support that. We got no Windows on this, bro. Or at least the motherboard isn't detecting it. No, it's saying no boot device detected. So I'm going to throw Windows 11 on there. Hopefully, probably going to have to do a file. So here we go. I may as well just go get the BIOS update. Do it, because we're going to do that anyway. Don't worry, the RGB will turn on once we get the software installed from Cooler Master. The good news is it's posted, so it works. All right. What board is this? So this is an ROG Strix B450F gaming. So let's go get that. Oh yeah, this thing's ancient. It's 2605 on this thing. I don't think this board has seen any love. No, I'm just doing it right here in the BIOS. I don't need to rename it. BIOS update is underway. I was already in the BIOS, so I just did it right here from the easy Flash utility. Don't have to rename it if you're doing it from there. Okie dokie, that is a RX 580. It's an older card. Not newer. Older. Can't wait to see all these fans light up. I'm hoping to get into Windows and get that installed, the Cooler Master software, and then get those fans RGBing. Tony, check your fan header, motherboard, or everything lights up that's on the motherboard. No, in this situation, this motherboard does not have a 3-pin RGB header. So, 5 volts for the addressable RGB. So I had to plug it into a hub, which is that Cooler Master hub I installed earlier. And that's going to be controlling the RGB. But that connects to the Windows through a 2.0 header. USB 2.0. So I have to get the software installed in order for it to turn the RGB on. Onura, how often do you reinstall Windows for your personal computer? I haven't reinstalled Windows since I built this computer, and that was like 2021? Long time. But yeah, definitely needed a BIOS update. We went from a BIOS from 2019 to a BIOS in October of 2025, so which is the latest available on the website. Okay, I'm sorry. No, you're fine. I was just explaining it, Tony. That's all. Small case, Chris. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller, which is why we couldn't install the fan up here in the top, because the 360 millimeter AIO wouldn't fit with that top fan. Kind of dumb on NZXT's part. TBH. Going back to time, has Windows ever been good? I would say no. Well, Windows XP and Windows 7 and Windows 10, those were the GOATs. Windows 11 isn't that bad. It's got a lot of, you know, it's Microsoft 365 driven, so, and Teams and OneDrive, etc. But outside of that, it's not that bad, because you could shut that off still. Windows 7 was so good. I know. I loved Windows 7. We actually have decisions to make in regards to older OSs on this 2003 Alienware. I did install Windows XP, and then I was playing with drivers, etc., to make sure I could still get drivers for this hardware, and then also to make sure that it worked. But I went ahead and reinstalled XP, and man, that was a trip down memory lane. But you're comparing those windows because that's all the choice we had. Well, I mean, you had Linux and Mac OS, iOS. You had options. You just didn't have very good options. Windows 7 Ultimate! That was all you installed. Don't lie. And it was bootlegged. Yes. Windows 92 was good. I think you mean 95, unless you're talking about the original. Like, a little further back, which would have been Windows NT? I came into the picture on Windows 98. That's when I started building. 95, yes. Well, actually, I started on Windows 95, and then went to Windows 98, and then went to Windows ME, because I was an idiot and didn't know Windows 2000 was the better option. And then, that was when I was still paying for a license, too, by the way. Buying it, because that's how you could only get it. The internet wasn't that good back then. You got dial-up, and that was it. Broadband wasn't that big. So, all right, BIOS update is completed. Let's get Windows installed. Actually, let's go ahead and enable our DOCP, which is our XMP profile. I hate how sensitive the mouse is in this BIOS. Dial-up broadband was so expensive a long time ago. I know. AOL. You got mail. You remember that? Heck no, I had access to Windows Corporate Key. Well, I wasn't that lucky, chat nerds. I was some kid in a basement. I had troubles, and the only time I could get on the internet is when everybody was asleep because the phone wasn't being used. I had troubles with every Windows ever created, but I've had less troubles with some Windows than others. That's all I'm saying. Yes. That's a good way of putting it, Tony. Juno account dial-up. Yeah, there you go. All right. Hope that latest BIOS made it Windows 11 ready, and I don't have to go in and deal with the disabling and enabling all that crap. Oh, your PC doesn't meet the Windows 11 system requirement. Okay, well, we gotta go disable CSM. All the restaurant is dead now. World up is on. Where's enabled? Yeah, got you off. Bye. Your boot. UEFI mode. So yeah, secure boot should be good to go. What else? TPM, right? Is it TPM that I have to make sure is enabled? TPM 2.0, yeah. Where the hell is that? Under advanced, AMD FTPM configuration, enable firmware TPM. It's all enabled. I think it's just because the CSM was enabled. Windows 11 complained about that. Okay. Yeah. Dumb. All of them, yes. Yes. Alright, now let's see if Windows 11 is supported. I assumed with the latest BIOS update that all that stuff would be on. Because October 2025, that's all you could install is Windows 11, so why wouldn't the BIOS already have that enabled when you flash it? Kind of weird. Oh, yeah, much better. It's actually showing a 1080p screen resolution setup now. That is one thing I've noticed with the Windows 11 setup. If you have CSM on and you get to the setup screen and it's like super big, it usually means you're going to hit that error, which is why I commented on that. Searching for disks. That's a good sign. Hopefully it sees everything. All right. Skino. Is there anything on these drives that you want to save? If not, I'm just going to wipe them clean. If you don't respond quick enough, I'm just going to wipe them clean. Is there any data on these drives? It looks like there is data on it. Wipe them clean. As you command. We are not detecting that hard drive though, so that's a concern. We're only seeing the SSD. So I think you got a bad hard drive. The good news is the hard drive's a cheap thing, so, and something I wouldn't even recommend anyway. You're only getting the 500 gigabyte M.2 SSD on here. Oh yeah, I forgot I poured this a long time ago. Oh, that is so nice. I wish the real inventor of Windows was still alive, but Bill Gates robbed him and paid him $50,000 and he drank himself to death. Bill Gates is a piece of junk. Interesting comment, Tony. Is this like 2010 maybe? Oh, you like the RGB? Yeah, you like that? Eat grasshoppers and love it. 37% on the Windows 11 install. I really want to show you guys what it looks like with the RGB on, so I'm just trying to get into Windows and then get the Cooler Master software installed so I can run these RGB. Run the RGB. Unless it simply just came unplugged in there and I didn't know. That'd be stupid. Maybe I should check that. Yeah, we'll get there. This graphics card came out, I want to say like 2016, 2015. Cat Nerds, are you still here? You probably know. When did the RX 580 come out? Chat Nerds is like a nerd. Oh, April 18th, 2017. AMD officially released the RX, Radeon RX 580. So 2017. The launch price, it debuted at an MSRP of $199 for the 4GB model and $229 for the 8GB model, but nobody bought the 4GB, everybody bought the 8GB. The architecture, it is built on the 14 nanometer Polaris 20 architecture is refined, slightly faster version of the preceding RX 480. That was the downside, was that it was only slightly faster than the 480, so it didn't make sense if you were somebody who had a 4080 to then upgrade to the 5080 because it was such a small upgrade. It was a budget variant called the RX 580, or a re-release of it, a budget variant called the RX 580 2080 SP, which is what Chat Nerds and I keep talking about, with fewer shading units, was released in October 2018, primarily in the Chinese market. It was a little bit cheaper card. Those are all over the place on Amazon, so if you go look up a 580, RX 580 right now on Amazon, the only thing you're gonna find is a 2040 SP and or used 5080s in general. So really hard to find a brand new RX 580, original 580. But there were solid cards for budget builds back in 2017 through, I want to say, like even 2023, we're still using RX 580s. Waiting for fans. I gotta finish the Windows. The Windows install is finishing, and then I gotta install the Cooler Master software, and then we should have RGB on the fans. No, it's still a very capable card. It's just its older architecture is starting to show, and it's also GDDR5, which can't keep up as well with newer titles. So it's gonna need a new graphics card upgrade on this system. That would significantly increase the gaming performance on this build. The Ryzen 5 3600, still a strong processor. You can still run that and run a 5060 with it, probably just fine. All right. We're just gonna bypass this. Yes, it was a 3-hour stream. We definitely needed to start earlier. Oh, thank you for hanging out this late, man. It was, I don't think I anticipated the stream to go this long. But there was a lot of work here to clean this up, and then there was a lot of work to do the build. A lot of obstacles we had to figure out and solve, a lot of puzzles. 9:54 there. It's 11 o'clock over here, so Eastern time. Nope. Like that. Whoa, whoa. Spinny Circle of Death, there we go. I'm glad you started it early. It was awesome for me. I got to get up at 4 in the morning. Holy smokes. What do you got to do at 4 in the morning? Still not past your bedtime, though. I thought my last card in 2007 was 4 gigs. Maybe it was 2. Can't remember. 2007. What would have been out then? Agree with Doc. There we go. It's only 8 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get up at 6, and then we're gonna be cutting hay tomorrow. So, so I'm gonna work in the morning, and then probably get out around 3:30. And then head out to the hayfield, and then we're cutting hay till that's done. Or until the dew hits the ground. I love Asus motherboards. Yeah, they're pretty nice. They're fancy. Fancy boards. Alright, we're almost there, boys. And if there are any ladies. This might take a few minutes. Don't turn off your PC. I don't even have it connected to the internet. Oh, yeah. Taking its dear sweet time in this next screen, sorry. My new build almost 5 months old now. Yeah, I can't even believe that. I remember complaining about stuff back then. Look at the price of stuff now. It's absurd. This is ludicrous. Sure, go ahead. Cooler Master software. Going straight for the gut punch. The Master Plus. I hope it works with this. I assume it does. Yeah, I can't wait to see it light up either. I'm really hoping it does. Really hoping it does. Come on, RGB. We're launching the Cooler Master software. And it's detecting the component. That's a good sign. And it's forcing me to do a firmware update on that hub. So, got to do the firmware upgrade. Didn't build a computer for nearly 20 years. You guys helped me so much. I'm glad we helped. Uh-oh, we got a red axe. Okay. I don't know what a red X means on it. Because firmware isn't the latest version, it can't be used with this version of MP. You can click restart button to restart the MP and execute a firmware upgrade. Oh my gosh. We're just getting a red X. Nice. What do I do here, guys? How do you update the firmware on this stupid LED controller A1? I wonder if I have just too much going through it and it's not even letting it work. I feel like it should work. We're going down a rabbit hole, guys. Well, this is frustrating. No, the AI won't light up because all of the addressable RGB is going through this Cooler Master hub because the motherboard doesn't have... Oh my gosh, it's still not letting me do it. Why is it doing this to me? Let's restart it. Reboot. It might be because we don't have a chipset driver installed yet. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. Or maybe the, well, it detects it at least. I don't know. Do, 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 do. I'm gonna go ahead and install the chipset driver and see if that helps. Oh, a reboot did something. Oh, you guys see that? Something happened. Oh. Guys, I think we're there. Hey, look at that. We got it. Nice. There we go. If you can put the camera back over. Seems to have moved a little bit on us. A little bit better. And we made it so you could do it in the software, Cooler Master software, but still software controlled. Yeah, we could do. You have a static color you want to set it to? We could do white, for example. The motherboard and the RAM has to be controlled by the motherboard software. That is a nice color, though. Which reminds me, we have to go get the armory crate. Oh, you like purple? I promise it looks more purple in real life. All right, we got to restart it. Yes, Chris, we've done it. Well, there you have it, guys. We finally got the RGB on through the Cooler Master Hub, and we're able to complete the build. The physical. Now I just got to finish the software side and do some testing on my end to basically certify the fact that I built it and it's built right and I'm happy with it. So before it can leave, I have to basically do my thing. So let me do my thing, and I will make sure it's good to go for you, and I'll probably have it ready for pickup on Saturday for you. Well, let me know if you have any questions leading up until then. Will not be here at all tomorrow, almost today. And I'll have it ready for you on Saturday. Let's go. I hope it's everything you thought it would be. All right, well, that being said, I do have to build a PC, and I might be doing that Saturday night, depending on the schedule. So I wasn't anticipating doing a build stream on Saturday night, but there is a possibility that we do a new build stream on Saturday night. And then we are going to have a loaded Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday build streams. So it's going to be a really busy week for us on the channel. Make sure, if you haven't already, join the Discord for the after party, and of course, to keep up to date when I'm going live, because my schedule is so sporadic, you never know when I'm actually going to go live. I'm kind of one of those guys that just shows up and be like, surprise, I'm streaming. Unintentionally. It's generally because of my crazy schedule. So, oh, sure. But make sure you join the Discord channel, !Discord in the chat. Thank you, some giant idiot, for dropping that in the chat for people. You can join there and hang out, ask questions, and game in there when I have time. And then, of course, get all the updates and news and things there. It's running good. Can we see the screen? Sure. Hopefully the capture card is working. I don't think the capture card's working, guys. Hold on. We're gonna switch back to the side view here while we wait for this capture card to figure its life out. Completely forgot I borrowed a cable off the capture card, so that's not going to work. So, as of right now, no, you can't see the screen. Unless you see it right there on the side, which is right there. All the dust on it from probably cleaning your computer. I guess I have to go figure out what I did with that cable. I stole an HDMI cable. Borrowed it for something stupid. Oh, what do you mean by screen? I guess I'm really confused on what you're asking. How about you come here in person on Saturday and you'll see it running. But I don't have Discord on this machine. I'm not going to log into it. I won't log into Discord, my personal, on anybody's computer. Absolutely not. And you'll see it on Saturday. Yes, Jack, don't look, that's the wrong build. That's the wrong build. The exclamation point build. What's up, Mike? How's it going, man? Welcome to the build show. Jackie, welcome to the build show. No, I'm saying, is the capture card used when... No. The capture card that I have here is so that I can share the screen of the computer back to my computer so that we can put it on the stream. That's what the capture card's used for. Doesn't have anything to do with Discord or screen sharing on Discord. Yeah. I thought you were asking to share the screen so you could see it. And I could, but I guess apparently stole an HDMI cable from my capture card at some point and completely forgot I did that, and here we are. Capture card's not plugged in. But there we go, guys. We have the build. It is done. We saw it transform from that scary looking case into this beautiful white case. And it's good to go. Outside of putting it back together, the backside, because I had to take that apart, play with the hub. And then finishing the drivers. And then testing it. Making sure it's all good to go. Maybe a couple tweaks here and there with the fan curves. Stuff like that. I'm going to test the card and see if it needs a repaste. If it does need a repaste, then I'll do the repaste. But I don't know until I throw a benchmark on it. And I'm not going to do that right now. So that is it for me, guys. Y'all have a good night. Again, if you haven't already, joined the Discord. Good place to hang out and have fun. What's the bleep? That would be the format hammer. It's basically a sledgehammer. Or use your imagination and guess what bleep means. Alright, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next one. Maybe Saturday. Monday night for sure. Saturday is a maybe. Saturday night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all build streams. We'll see ya on the next one. Have a good night. Love y'all.